Hey there, my name's Sean. Welcome to Next Step. And today I'm going to talk about a dream that I had. And this is a dream that I had a little while ago, about a year ago. And I thought it'd be proper to share it now. Um, Basically, this dream wasn't like any other dream that I have on a regular basis. Um, I do have dreams pretty frequently that that I believe that are from God, and this was one of them. And the reason why I believe them to be from God is because um, some of the things that I see in these dreams are beyond my imaginations, my the capability of my imagination. You know, I'm not a scientist or anything, and I'm sure there's plenty of sleep study scientists out there that could argue with me and say, oh, well, the brain's capable of pretty incredible things. Well, um, the level of surprise in this dream was pretty high. It started out in this pit, like you see in this picture here. He was outside of this church, and they were having this event going on, and I was meeting with somebody uh, who was one of the leaders of the church because I own a pressure washing business, and I um, was hired to pressure wash the building, and so I was talking to the leader, and they were getting ready with their event that was going on outside and normal church. And I have these are all AI photos that I made that kind of show. It was hard to you know, it's not exactly what the church looked like, obviously, and there were the reason why there's Easter eggs is because I noticed that there was Easter eggs on the church, like that weren't found from children who had gone and looked for Easter eggs, like from an event or something that the church was having, and they were like hidden around. And I was pressure washing and looking at the building, and so that's why you see Easter eggs. At one point, I was walking around the church building, and everybody was still outside. And at one point, I came across this door that was like um, it was like one of those double doors, and it had windows on it, and there was other windows on the other sides of the doors, and there was this room. So it was like behind the church, kind of like almost like not in like an attic type of thing, but like it was like in a back room where you might have like the kitchen or something like that. Anyways, I was pressure washing, looking around the building, and I looked through this window, and I noticed a group of people doing some sort of like ritualistic thing that seemed really strange. I leaned in a little bit closer, looked through the window, and I remember seeing, I don't remember seeing anything specific, but I remember just having this really weird feeling like there was something really weird going on. And then I remember somebody turning their head and seeing me, and then they opened the door and said, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you looking at us? Like, and I was just like, oh no, I didn't see anything. I'm good. Like, I'm just pressure washing. I just, doing some stuff. And so they just didn't think anything of it. But I remember just having a very unsettled feeling when I saw that. Um, then fast forward a little bit, you know, there's not at this point in the dream, like my pressure washing's like been done, and like um, I've now been, you know, maybe invited to come inside of the church or something like that. But when I walked inside the church, and I turned around, I looked out the door and I noticed that there was a bunch of people coming into the church, doors wide open, and it was like normal people. And they were all very excited to come in. There was something exciting happening that they were all coming um, to experience, and they were all very happy, coming in with purpose and quickness. You know, like they were. It's almost like they were trying to get a seat. They were trying to get a spot. They didn't want to lose their place. And what was interesting is when I looked inside this church, uh, the inside of it became this like stone masonry. Um, this stone, the walls were like stone, like the inside of like an old ancient castle almost. There's lots of candlelight, and the church, like basically the inside had this big long hallway. And as I was walking down the hallway, I do have this picture, but oh wait, not that one, this one. So this is kind of what it looked like. And what I noticed, and you notice these people are like looking at each other. So as I was walking down this hallway, I noticed that people were like looking at me up and down, like judging me, and I could feel like their judgment toward what I was wearing. And I noticed that people were wearing really nice clothes. They had, just like, name brand clothes. And they were looking at me like up and down, like judging me as I was walking by them. And then I got to the end of the hallway, and I don't have a picture for this, but at the end of this hallway, there was this big wooden, beautiful table. It was made out of like dark oak wood, and it was like really shiny. And there could be like maybe like 20 people on this like sit at this table, and there was this big fireplace, off to the left. That was one of those kind of fireplaces that take up the whole wall and that go all the way down to the ground. And above it was a portrait of the pastor of the church. And I remember that he looked normal, but it was very like gaudy, like why does he have this? Like I remember thinking like it's kind of strange that this pastor has a huge portrait of himself up on the wall. I just remember thinking that's really strange. I turned around, went back down the hallway, and on the other side of the hallway, I ran into this guy who was standing next to this device of some kind. It was, and it kind of looked a lot like what is in this image right here, actually. And this guy was standing there, and the guy was very similar to this guy in the AI photo. He was very nice. He was very kind, but he was very like he was trying to convince me of something regarding this photo. And the photo was very holographic. It was almost like it was like a hologram, but it was like connected to like this, kind of like this, like a poster. It was 3D, and like it was moving, and like and this guy was telling me all about this man, and it was a man who lives, right, who was alive. He was telling me all these amazing good things about him, and that he is the one that we look to, and that some what I will say is that I knew it wasn't Jesus. So just to be clear, I know this picture kind of looks like him, but the man in the image was very he had this like divine nature to him, very powerful, very strong. People looked up to him, and he was, this man who was talking about him was very, very proud of him and wanted to tell me all about him. The other thing that I saw that I did not like make a picture of this, but I turned to my right after looking at this image, and I remember seeing this screen on the wall, and it was showing like advertising almost, or like showing off this work that this organization has been doing, where the only thing I could describe, I saw these like conveyor belts with toys on them, right? Moving through, right? Like little toys, like things that kids would play with, right? And these toys were moving through, and then I saw this claw that would come grab one, or or a person would grab it, and then they would take out whatever was in it, like a voice box, and they'd put a different one in, and it would say something like when you squeezed it, it would say something that it wasn't supposed to say, and they were like every like 5 or 6 toys, they were grabbing one and they were putting something else in that said something else. I don't know what it said, but it was not. It was like a part of their agenda or their you know, it was something not good. I just remember it not being good, and so yeah, as so yeah, that's a lot of the dream so far. But where it got really trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't think I have. I think that's pretty much everything. Uh, then on the outside of the church, I remember looking. I was outside after all this. Okay, so all of this that had happened. So starting from outside, going inside, it was like a buildup, okay, to an event that was happening at the end at nighttime. And I remember being outside, and it was probably like maybe like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and I looked up at the church on the side of the church, and I noticed. So on the inside, people were having a really good time. There was music playing, there was loud like cheering, and just lots of stuff going on, right? And people having a really good time. And I remember the music was bumping, and as the music was bumping, I looked up at the building, and I could see that the bricks were pulsating like this, like where the cracks are. So like, let's say these are two bricks, like this together. The cracks were like separating just slightly, and when they separated, I saw flames and radiation coming out of the brick, you know and the word that came to my mind was oven or furnace. And it looked a lot like this right here. And so imagine this, but like where you see the light coming through the cracks of the bricks, was pulsating, right? And I remember thinking, they're burning inside, like whatever is happening on the inside, they're cooking. And I remember thinking like how I remember thinking I'm so thankful that I'm not inside there right now, because they have no idea what's going on. So now that's all my dream. With this dream, I woke up, I wrote it all down, and I've shared it just with my family. And I'm not sure exactly what to make of it all, but I do remember that this was something that was happening in the future. That it wasn't something that was now. It was something that was like going to happen. And the thing that stuck out to me the most and what startled me the most was like I said before, how it went from normal to this, all of a sudden shifting to this evil, strange, perverted, like version of this church and the event that was going on. It was very startling to me, because that's not how the dream was progressing at first. And it was just me pressure washing this building, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this, I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing this. And I was very unsettled. And that's one thing also that when I believe that it's from God, when I wake up, I have a very unsettling feeling. Usually my dreams that I have are not, they're not necessarily, good. Just because I don't believe that right now there's not, when it comes to our future in the end times as Christians, I don't think there's much good to, and I don't think God is going to give me a dream that, like, for some reason, this dream is going to help people. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But God gave me this dream. I haven't shared it. I'm sharing it now. And I don't know what it all means necessarily. I mean, maybe you could, help interpret this dream. All I know is that I know it was from God, and and I'm gonna share other dreams, so look out for those too. But if you have like any ideas, I mean, I can sit here and speculate, but if you have ideas on what I'm looking at, what I'm dreaming about, I'd love for your I would love for your feedback in the comments. Like, let me know like what you might think I'd be dreaming about. So, thanks. That's everything. Have a good one.